Alright, so I'm a moderator of a group called Birb, and there are a lot of questions that we get on the Birb group. So I don't know what other videos to make today, so I'm just going to look through Birb and see if there are any questions. I'm not going to show the screen because there's a lot of personal information people probably don't want to give out. So here's one, not even like a minute in. Somebody asked, what are the pros and cons of owning a cockatiel? Owning a cockatiel, there's a lot of pros and there's a lot of cons. Cons, they are very loud. They can be loud. Some, not so loud. It depends on the noise volume within your home already, because they can get louder. And pros, they are cuddly. Sometimes they're cuddly, sometimes they're not. It really depends on where you get them, what their temperament is like, all that stuff. More cons would be that hormone season, oh my gosh. My one cockatiel, his hormones lasted like 6 months, and it was not fun. It was like having a possessed seagull, I called it, because it just was not great. He was terrible. Today I'm seeing a lot of pros and cons questions. I don't know if it's just one person or not, but somebody asks, so I have a question for you guys. My bird is 4 months old and came from a pet store. He is a budgie and his beak is growing. He isn't chewing though. I have a cuddle bone and lots of wood toys and stuff. I don't think he gets it, and I need tips or advice of how to get him to start chewing so it wears his beak down. One last thing, he trusts me somewhat already. I have had him for a month and a half. He likes to just sit on my finger or shoulder and look around. I was wondering, is there anything I could do to make him realize I am not evil and neither are scratches and petting? Well, first thing, you said you have a budgie, so this is just answering this question, and to anyone who might also have a budgie. Budgies are not cuddly, per se. You might see the rare cuddly ones. Those ones are usually hand-raised. Not always, but sometimes. Budgies just aren't really big on cuddling. If you've ever seen the show Attack on Titan, you should get a good idea of how they would feel about our hands. So yeah. And if your bird isn't chewing the cuddle bone, you can grate it down with a cheese grater or a lemon zester into their food. It really helps. Someone asks, hey there, I made a bird feeder, but I'm not sure what I should put in it other than seed. Any recommendations? Well, what I would say is to add some dried fruit, possibly. You could put out some maybe boiled crushed egg, I'm not sure. Basically any leftovers. If you have birds, just leftovers from their food, they would eat that. You can basically put out anything they would probably eat. This happens a lot. A lot of people aren't allowed to have a bird, so they either ask what should they do in the meantime, or they ask how can they convince their parents to get them a bird, if they're in that situation where it's just their parent saying no. But what you can do, you can see if there's a local bird rescue near you, and if there is, then you can volunteer. See if you can volunteer, or you can see if you can get a first-hand look at what owning a bird feels like. If you're not able to volunteer at one though, or you don't have one near you, you can always see if you can buy a bird feeder and put it outside and you can study the outdoor birds. Or if you look online, look on Craigslist or something, see if you can find any friends. Make some friends of people who have birds, and maybe you can hang out with them, learn what they're like, see what they're like, go from there. Another question we get a lot is just usually jokingly asked, but some of the questions are, what is the best bird? And I really can't say that because the best bird is all in what your opinion is. Well, not really opinion, but experience. What you've experienced. Some people may not like budgies because they got bit by one when they were 3. And that's a good example of how budgies get a bad rep. because when you're 3, you don't know a sense of personal space. So if you see something that looks like a toy, you might want to go up and grab it. And if you grab it and it bites, you're going to be scared and not want to play with that ever again. And when you're 3, you can also over-exaggerate things more than you should. So I recommend, if you've had a bad experience with a bird, go back and try again. See if you can change your mind. Change your younger self's mind as to what that bird is like. Works with any animal too. But the best bird is really something you need to decide, like what your experience is. Nobody can really say this is the best bird, because somebody else will probably say, no, I think this is the best bird. And it's just all that. I mean, in this poll that somebody did right now, a lot of votes are towards cockatiel. Cockatiels are really good, but they're not for everyone. So if somebody says a cockatiel, you should really do your research, because they can live a really long time and they can be very dependent on you. So if you're not looking for something that is gonna be on your shoulder all day, want to be with you around you all day, then you should probably consider something else. I had to reach out because I wasn't seeing a lot of questions there. Okay, so I asked people to ask me questions since I ran out of questions just searching, which doesn't usually happen, might I add. And James asks, what bird species can be more than one would you most like to own? Me, I would say a gallicockatoo, because I've never seen one in real life. I've only seen videos, and they look really fun, but really loud as well. So I would meet one, but I wouldn't own one. Also an Indian ringneck, or an Alexandrian parrot, they're similar, because they are super cool. I love how their eyes dilate and how they move similar to dinosaurs. They're just really cool in that way, and they're really colorful. Like, not super colorful, but like their feathers are like an ombre. Like, it's just very pleasing to the eye how soft their feathers look, and I really like that. My friend Kat, or Karen, says maybe cover how to respond to negative behaviors like biting. Well, like I said in the other video, just briefly, biting can be from many different things. It can be from hormones, it can be from not getting enough food, it can be from being thirsty, it can be that you did something the wrong way, it can be that you pet them the wrong way and it hurt. Different things like that. Biting is usually their next form of defense as per body language. So if you don't notice their body language, then they're gonna bite you. They're gonna bite you. So a way to redirect that is to try and find a toy that they like, that you can give to them when you see that they're going to bite you. Or, well, the first thing I would say is, if you can catch them before the bite, see if you can start to learn that body language. Like, some birds will have a lunging motion. Like, if they're about to bite you, they will lunge, and that's your first warning. There are ways you can counteract biting, and I might do that in another video since this one is getting a bit long. And James wants me to cover bird masturbating. And this is a real thing. It does happen. A lot of people will post videos where I'm really getting tired of my camera shutting off on me. Bird masturbating is a very real issue in the bird community. A lot of people's birds will like start doing this movement on their hand that can always be mistaken for dancing, and it is not dancing. It's far from dancing. It's usually when they're wagging their tail and they're like making little chirps and doing that kind of stuff. And for that, you should really redirect it by, if your bird learns tricks, you can always put it on something and go over a trick, and that usually helps a lot. to redirect it. So I have a feeling this is going to be a long video, so I'm going to cut it off now and go and edit it, and I hope it looks okay in the camera and not really bad and stupid. So yeah, bye.